Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope you're able to hear me. Please just message on the chat if you guys can't hear me. Welcome to today's session. My name is Vivian. I'll be conducting the technical analysis session for today. If everyone can hear me, I think I will go ahead and start. I'll just wait for another 20 seconds just to get a confirmation that everyone can hear me. Okay. Okay, I'm guessing everyone can hear me now. All right, welcome again to the webinar. Today we'll be looking at the technical analysis of trading. Uh, we use technical analysis to identify good entries and exits. Mainly, technical analysis is used for short term, but it could also be used for a long term trend. Let's go ahead. Yeah. So technical analysis is a trading discipline employed to evaluate investments and identify trading opportunities by analyzing statistical trends gathered from trading activity, such as price movement. So in short, previous price movement, price action that has taken place is what technical analysts look at to predict future price movements. There are a lot of cases where a particular price has been repeated over a period of time. It could be on a short term basis, or it could also be on a yearly basis when a particular price, when the price of a particular stock comes to a particular level, you see buyers coming back from that region. So that is known as a good technical support for buyers to start buying back into the markets. Today we'll be covering a couple of technical indicators. I'm going to keep it very basic, but still very much effective in today's market. Most of it would be done practically on the screen. I hope you guys will be able to see all the live trading or signals that I am going to be showing today. The three indicators that we'll be looking at today would be RSI, and the other one would be ATR and Fibonacci. Let's go through each one of them. RSI is basically relative strength index. RSI was developed to find out when a strength has increased towards a particular direction and the strength is over, it is coming to an end. So RSI basically has two ends to it. I will show this in a short while on the screen as well. When the RSI gives you a signal, when it is above 70%, it gives you a signal that the markets have been overbought. So there is a potential downturn that could take place, and vice versa. If the RSI indicator out of 100% has dropped down till 30%, that means the sellers might be getting exhausted, and it is a good time to start looking at a buying opportunity. Let's look at this chart for an example. This is US 30, the top 30 blue chip companies, right? A US 30 is Dow Jones, comprised into one index, all the 30 blue chip companies. Let's just look at the chart over here. If you can look at the bottom part of the chart, this is RSI, right? Now, in terms of calculation of RSI and how RSI has been calculated to get these signals, we will send you a couple of links so that you can get into more detailed study about RSI. But then I would just be touching upon how RSI is used as an indicator to enter or exit. Yeah. So let's look at the first point on RSI. Like I mentioned, there is 100% width in the RSI indicator. 30% signifies when the market is on a downtrend, and when it's below 30%, it is considered as the market has been oversold, and vice versa. Once the market goes above 70%, when the market is back on the uptrend, you will see the RSI reaching towards the 70% mark. It closes above it, or if it closes around the 70% mark, you can expect the markets to reverse in trend. Now, looking at these example, you can look at the first indicator. The first time the market started dropping, it went below your 30%, which indicated a good reversal. So buyers would look at this particular area to start buying into the market. And I'll come to the stop losses and take profits. We'll just look at the entries in terms of buying and shorting the markets. Now, RSI eventually went back up as the market had gone back up. You will see RSI was about 70%, and then the market took a U-turn again, and you see the market dropping sharply. And one thing to keep in mind, RSI is not 100% sure short strategy that they would be a reversal in trend. It could remain in oversold region for a very long period of time, as and the prices could still continue dropping without going back up. So always make sure you have an exit plan in terms of a stop loss, and also on the upside you need to have a take profit, which I will be telling you how you can set a fixed stop loss and take profit based on RSI movement. And if you look at these couple of downside movement on RSI has also given you a small swing upside. And the last big one was when it came back to overbought, and then market has been on the downward curve ever since. Let's move forward to the next indicator. And please do not worry if you did not understand the concept. I'm going to be using the same concepts practically in about 5-10 minutes. The next one is average true range. Okay, average true range is a technical indicator which measures market volatility. It is basically derived from 14-day moving average of a series of true range indicators. Again, for RSI and for the ATR calculations, we will provide you the link where you can have a deeper study as to how the calculation behind it is done. But for today, I will just show you how we can apply it practically. And one more thing to note in average true range is to make it very simple to understand. Average true range basically gives us an indication as to if you're looking at a 5-minute time frame for any particular stock, commodity, or a currency. It tells us in a 5-minute time frame how much of points or how much of dollars a particular stock can move within a 5-minute time frame. And this does not indicate direction. It just gives you a rough average of as to how many dollars a particular stock or an instrument can move. Moving forward to Fibonacci. Now, RSI and ATR is something that I would want you all to keep in mind while we are doing it practically. Fibonacci is a little more different from RSI and ATR, but then you can combine all three of this to take a entry or to identify potential entries or exits. For those of you who have not been familiar with Fibonacci, I'm going to make it very simple. It's easy to understand. Fibonacci is basically a series of numbers, as you can see on the screen over here. It starts with 0 and 1. You add your first 0 plus 1. You add your first number, and the second number, you get your third number. So 1 plus 1 gives you 2. 1 plus 2 gives you 3. 3 plus 5 gives you 8. 8 plus 13 gives you 21. And it can go on infinite, right? This is how a series of Fibonacci is formed. Now, the question is, how does these Fibonacci series help us in the stock market? I will show you a practical representation of the same thing on the charts in a little while. Now let's look at more details about Fibonacci. One fun fact is Fibonacci sequence, also known as the golden ratio, appears a lot in nature. Patterns such as spirals of shells, curve of waves, seed heads, pine cone, branches of a tree can all be described using this mathematical sequence. This is something that you all can do a complete separate research on Fibonacci numbers. Fibonacci pretty much appears in everything that we see around in life. It appears everywhere in nature. You all can actually Google this out. There are a lot of interesting facts. There is Fibonacci series in our own human body. I will give you a small example by the end of Fibonacci. All right. Moving forward, let's look at Fibonacci nature. A geometrical representation is what they've showed over here. You can see, I know it is a little small, but then 1 plus 1 square has given you the 2 squares. So 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 3, 5, 3 plus 5, 8, 8 plus 13, 21, 24, and it goes on. And in geometrical representations, they have just fit all of the boxes. One thing is all of these boxes fit perfectly aligned with the previous two numbers. Second is if you connect the corners of each of this box, let's look at box 8. If you connect the corner of the box and you continue with the other boxes, you get a spiral. Why am I showing you this? Because this also is important for us to know that Fibonacci is crucial when it comes to how we see life. If Fibonacci numbers appear everywhere in life, why not on the charts? And that is something that we are going to be looking into. Same thing with the tree. Tree has branches sprouted out with Fibonacci numbers. You can uh, count your branches if you'll have a tree at home. And the spiral is something that you can see in this sunflower. Okay. Moreover, where else do we see Fibonacci? Just look at this image. Can you all see any Fibonacci, any familiar Fibonacci from what we've learned right now? I'll just show you the previous pictures again. Let's get back into our galaxy and see. Can you see anything familiar here? It has Fibonacci in it as well. Again, this is something that you can do as a homework for you all to have more conviction if this is actually true. And from the research that we have read and we have seen, most of it has come true in terms of the Fibonacci. Let's look at Fibonacci. Okay, since I was talking about the golden ratio, Fibonacci also is known as the golden ratio. Why is it known as the golden ratio? Let's go back to the numbers, right? So if you take any of these numbers, okay, I would suggest if you're using your laptop, you can take out your phone right now and do this practically with me. You can take any of these numbers, okay, take the first number divided by the second number multiplied by 100, you get 61.8. And you can do that with any number from the series. You can do it between 233 divided by 377 into 100. Okay. Or you can do it with a bigger number, 28,657 divided by 46,368. I will give you all about 10 to 15 seconds just to do this on your mobile. Okay. You need to divide your first number by the second number multiplied by 100 and you should get 61.8. I'm guessing most of you have tried it. If you all haven't tried it, no worries. You get the Fibonacci series on Google. You can take any of the first number divided by the second number to get multiplied by 100 to get 61.8. Now, why is 61.8 so crucial? 61.8 is basically known as the golden ratio. I'll give you an example. If you take my entire height from my head to toe as 100%, my height, my hip bone to my leg comes to 61.8% of my entire height. Now, this is something again you can try it out at home if you'll have children. You can measure their height and their height, how many ever centimeters needs to be 100%, and you will see that 61.8% of their entire height will be the lower half of their body. Why am I telling you this? If 61.8 is that significant in a human body, and if Fibonacci is that significant in the entire nature, why not on a stock price movement, right? Now, keep the example of my height because we're going to be using a lot of height and hip as an example for us to see it on charts. I'll give you an example on Apple, one of the most traded stock. We're looking at Apple's rally that has happened from 2019, and there was a big downside that came in the Apple stock, right? Now, if you look at it again, remember the height, remember my height is the same concept here. This is the toe, and this is the head. So this is the entire 100% height of this rally before a drop actually came in, before a significant drop that came in. Now the drop came in, it had taken a support from uh, a particular spot, and it has bounced back up. Right now, this support is where investors look to identify where they need identify where to enter into a stock. Now we are looking at a weekly candlestick, so most probably a lot of investors would be looking at it because they are trying to get into Apple for a longer term. And if you see from this chart, it has come down to 61.8. I will show you on the charts how to draw Fibonacci again, but this is just an example. We'll do it live as well to see if what I'm showing you on the chart actually happens even on a live chart. Now, I hope we are clear on this. So market dropped to 61.8. That was a good level to buy. Investors would have entered here. And then again, stop loss and take profit is something that I haven't mentioned yet, but that is very, very, very crucial, even if you get a very good confirmation on your entry point. Okay, now moving forward, now we understand what Fibonacci is. We understand how the Fibonacci numbers are formed. Now we understood how 61.8, the golden ratio, was derived from the Fibonacci number. Now, because we have derived it from numbers to a percentage as a ratio, is why we were able to measure the percentage move on Apple and a percentage drop on Apple before you bought it. So we are going to still keep that in mind. We are going to use Fibonacci to find certain harmonic patterns. Harmonic patterns are very, very interesting. Harmonic patterns are considered to be a very high probable trade, not a 100% sure shot trade, but it is a very high probable trade. I will give you all one example for the day on harmonic trade. There are multiple harmonic patterns. They have been named differently. I'll just briefly explain what harmonic pattern is. Harmonic price patterns take the geometrical price patterns. Now, when I say geometrical price patterns, they're going to use Fibonacci percentage movements to measure turning points in the market. I will explain this to you on a chart as well so that you will get a much better understanding. Okay, the whole idea about harmonic patterns is Gartley was a person who identified these patterns, and eventually he kept looking at these patterns to identify what or to solve most investors and traders a problem or a query is what and when to buy or sell. Now, harmonic patterns and Fibonacci helps us identify these patterns, these levels to enter and exit. Let's look at a couple of examples as we go ahead. Now this is a bullish Gartley pattern. Again, this is a harmonic pattern that you see on the screen, and this is a bearish Gartley pattern. I know there are a lot of figures here. Do not get confused. I am going to use the same on a live chart so that you will understand what I am talking about. Okay. Let me just roughly explain to you what a bullish Gartley pattern is. Let's say, for example, an instrument or a stock or a commodity started rallying from a particular point. So basically, there was a steep rally that has come into the market, and market goes up. At some given point of time, it starts reversing. Now this X and A could happen at any given point of time. There is no start or end that we can measure to identify where an X can start from or where A can reverse from. But we start measuring once the B is formed. That means market went up and then we saw a drop. The minute we see a drop coming in is when you apply your Fibonacci. So you're going to apply your Fibonacci at the bottom to the top, and then you see where does it come back down to form your B. If it comes back to 61.8, like I said, most cases it comes down till 61.8 before market bounces back up. If that happens on point B, that means your X, A, and B has been confirmed, and then we need to measure A to B to see to identify C. So basically, if you measure A to B again with Fibonacci, it needs to go back up by 61.8 or somewhere between 88.6 and 38.2. So the midpoint again is 61.8, but on the higher end it can go till 88.6. So if X, A, B, and C is confirmed, there is high chances the D is going to happen, right? Now again, a lot of people do not take a trade at C, they wait for the D to complete. So once X, A, B, C, and D has been completed, is when it becomes a very high probable trade, and people take a trade at point D, keep a stop loss below point X, and they buy it for it to reach at least A or 61.8 of this entire drop. Now, I know this would have been a little bit of confusion because I'm not showing it to you all practically. What I'm going to do is right now, let's go to the charts and let's look at RSI, let's look at ATR, then let's look at Fibonacci, and then come to the harmonic patterns. Uh, I hope everyone is able to hear me so far. You all can just put in a comment if you all can hear me. Okay, let's move forward. I'm going to share my screen. All right, so let's apply whatever we just discussed on the charts. Let's start with RSI and let's start with ATR. I will explain how we need to apply these into our trading system. I'm going to be taking a 5-minute chart on US 30 to give you an example of how to use RSI and ATR. Let me close everything. So this is your chart. This is US 30 movement for the day. Markets has been swinging both direction. Now a lot of people try to take advantage of these drops on and these rises to make a small gain for the day. This is for the short term, but the same can be applied even on a longer time frame. I'm doing it on a shorter time frame so that we can see practically what has happened today. Now in terms of adding your technicals on our platform, we have technicals by default. You click on technicals, you have various indicators. We are looking into RSI. Okay, so overlays is your moving averages, RSI is your deeper studies. So you go to studies, you click on RSI. By default the length is 10 and you can leave it as 10. You can always change these figures later once you start trying to implement this system into your trading strategy, but 10 is default and it works pretty well. Now let's just look at RSI just for this today moment. Let's just look at what has happened, probably from this time frame to this time frame. Now we see there have been couple of overbought region, oversold region, right? Oversold region is where a potential buyer would look to buy, and overbought position is where a potential buyer will look to sell, right? So since the market has been quite flat today, there has not been too many swings that has happened. If you want to see a bigger swing, we can look at it on a 1-minute chart. 1-minute chart gives you a much better clear picture. The same time frame you're looking at it on a 1-minute chart, it went to overbought region and it gave a drop. It came to your oversold region and you took a buy here. It remained flat. It did not give you too much of a gain here. Market dropped again, came back to oversold region. So again, a lot of investors or traders will look to buy at this region. Market gave you a swing back upside. So basically, technically, this made profit on this particular trade, and this trade that you had taken earlier was is at break even. It went to overbought region at this zone and this zone, so they will look at shorting US 30. It has given a good drop. Now I'm looking at a 1-minute chart, and most of you all must be wondering: is it even worth taking trades on 1-minute chart? It depends on instrument to instrument. Now we need to know how many dollars can US 30 move in a 1-minute time frame or in a 5-minute time frame. And how are we going to do that? If you have experience in the market, you know on an average how many dollars it can move up or down. But then let's say if you're very new to the market and you do not understand US 30, or you do not understand most of the instruments that is available to trade, but you want to know how many dollars can US 30 move in a 1 minute time frame, so that I can base my trading decision based on the moment. Now that is where your ATR comes into play. What is ATR? Average true range. Average true range is going to give you a good average price movement that you can expect on a single minute time frame. Now let's go to technical tools again. Yeah, you go to technicals, and your first option in studies is ATR, average true range. Again, by default, it is 14 period backtested. Now let's look at what is happening in US 30. US 30 is going up. It was at over sold region. Now it has gone to overbought region. So technically, people will look to take a short position at this price. Let me place a trade as well while we are speaking. Let's say I have $100,000 in the account, so probably I can take about 1 unit here, and if it goes up further, I can add some more. Now we'll come back to take profit and stop losses later. I'm taking a sell purely based on RSI overbought. I've taken this trade. Will you? Oops, I made a mistake. This should have been a sell. We can rectify that. That's okay. So we need to short 1 unit. Okay, I'm going to book the loss on the buy side. I'm going to take a short position of 1 unit based on my RSI indicator. Now again, this RSI indicator, this needs a lot of practice, and you need to really understand the product before you take any of these decisions. But these will help you make decision. This will be one of your indicator that gives you a signal as to potentially reversal in market points. These are good signals to look at. Now, in terms of ATR, if you can look at it on the right hand side of the screen, it is showing $8 here. So ATR is indicating that US 30 can move $8 in a single minute. Now it does not indicate direction, it just tells you it can move $8. It can move in your favor, it can move against you. Now let me change the time frame from 1 minute to probably a 5 minute time frame, right? On a 5 minute time frame, US 30 can move on an average of $20, right? Now, if you move to a daily chart, basically now we are trying to identify how many dollars can US 30 move in a daily time frame. That's about $483 or $484, right? Now that's a lot of dollars movement in one single day. Now, this helps me take a decision even if I'm doing a short term trade. Let's say I did a trade on a 1 minute chart. The max I can expect it to come in my favor is $8 a minute. So let's say it can give me in 2-3 minutes, it can give me about 16 or $24. I exit US 30. Okay, and now I know my take profit. I calculate my take profit based on my ATR. I've taken the signal based on my RSI. Let me keep a take profit for this. Take profit of $24 is what I'm expecting from this particular trade that I've taken right now. And how about stop loss? Now, stop loss is very tricky. When you're doing a very small time frame trade, you can always keep a stop loss close by, right? You can keep a stop loss of, let's say, $24. Now, in this case, the probability of your stop loss triggering also becomes high. So you can always keep a 1:2 risk reward ratio. That is always the best way to go. But with the current market volatility, what is happening is most of the stop loss is getting triggered, although your trade or your direction was right. So hence, it's always better to keep an extreme stop loss. If you're taking a trade on 1 minute time frame, always keep a stop loss above your 30-minute time range. So let's go to 30 minutes. 30 minutes, US 30 can move about $44. So I'm going to keep a stop loss of $44 on the upside. Or I can also double it up, because if you're planning to average, if you sell now and if you want to sell some more when it goes up higher, you can always do that as well. So you can keep an extreme stop loss of $80 on the higher end. That is worst case scenario. There's the news that has come out today. We have FOMC, which is going to be, which might impact the market a lot. And based on Powell's statement, the market can go in both directions, and hence it's always best to keep stop loss. A close stop loss or an extreme stop loss does not matter, but a stop loss is mandatory on every trade. Now, I just showed you an example on a very short time frame. Now, let's say you're looking at something on a long term basis and you want to buy something for the long run. And if your question would be, is it the same concept that we're going to apply when we're looking at it on a long run? Yes, you can apply the same concept, but again, do not depend only on RSI for all your trade decisions. RSI is just one single indicator. We have multiple indicators which would be covered in the future sessions, but you need to combine at least 2 to 3 good indicators that has been working for you consistently. You can always backtest each of these strategies before you consider. Let's say if you consider only RSI to take trades, you can always backtest, and if you're not able to backtest, we have the resources to help you backtest, and you can follow those signals, and it is going to be pretty much systematic signals based on the criteria that you would provide or we would provide. Now, going forward, let's look at a longer time frame. We have taken this short time frame. I've taken a trade on a minute chart. It's making a loss of $9. We'll come back and look at it. Look as to what happened later. The trade is going to be open. It's still here. Okay, now let's look at a little longer time frame. Let's now we've understood how to make use of your ATR and RSI. Now let's try combining Fibonacci with it. I had given an example on Apple. Let's go back to Apple. So this is Apple. If you're wondering why my candlesticks looks different, it's only red and it's only green. I choose a different kind of candlestick for me to find out trends. These are your normal candlesticks. If you're not very familiar with candlesticks, we can do another session. Please get in touch with your relationship managers and we can schedule a separate session for more basic training. But this is purely a candle movement on a weekly chart. I'm going to choose a different type of candlestick which calculates the candlesticks in a little different manner. We'll get into that on a basic training again. Now, once I click on Heikkanashi, you can do this as well on your platforms. You click on Heikkanashi, it is just going to show you a series of red or a series of green. Now, this helps you identify trend. Again, basics teach you trend line. They teach you resistance, right? This is a resistance. Then this is a resistance. Now, the same resistance can become a support. The same trend line also can become a support. Now, these are the basics. I'm sure most of you are already aware of trend lines and supports. Now, let's put Fibonacci to it. Let's look at the example of my height again. Every time you use Fibonacci, we need to identify a significant move. That is going to be the entire 100% height. Now we have a couple of significant moves that has happened all the way from 2018, actually all the way from much lower, but let's just look at the recent ones. Let's look at the big ones, right? There was a big rally that happened in 2019, then there was a drop, then a rally continued, then there was a drop and a rally continued. Now I'm going to start using my Fibonacci on this last rally that has happened. We can also start with here. Let's start with this. The rally pretty much started. So you start off once the rally begins, that's on the green candle, or you can take the bottommost, but I prefer to take from where the rally began based on my candlestick. I'll just zoom this in, right? So this is when I spoke about harmonic patterns. This is where your starting point was. It went up, it formed point A, then it formed point B. Okay, now we are not doing harmonic, but I'm just showing you how to measure Fibonacci. You always choose point A, point B, or point X to point A. And this has been chosen because this was a significant move. If you see 100% move, markets dropped. It took support. Okay, let's look at the prices. It was trading at 147. It went all the way up to 215 and then market dropped to 175 and then the rally continued. Now again, if you are an investor, if you are looking to buy and hold Apple, instead of jumping into Apple, you always wait for a good drop to come in. And when the drop comes in, the question is where are we going to be buying it? And this is where your 61.8 helps you. I hope you all can see the 61.8 market rallied, dropped 61.8 support, and market continued rallying. Okay, so probably this was one of incident that it actually came to 61.8. Let's look at the next rally that happened. I'm going to close this for now. So we saw this area over here met our 61.8 criteria. Now, what about the next rally? Let's look at the next rally. Market started rallying from this green candle here. There was a very minor correction in between, but it was if it was a significant drop, then I could have considered starting my point from here. But since it's a minor one, I'm just going to be starting it from here. Second time market rallied, it went to 326, 328, and then it came back down, took support around 337. The lowest it made was around 313. Again, for a long-term investor, even if you did enter at 235, it was a good entry point. If you look at most of these candle closing, it has gone down, yes, below 61.8, but most of it actually came back and closed near 61.8, and the rally continued. So this was your second entry point. So the condition of 61.8 happened here as well. Let's do a challenge. Now I have all these stocks which I can always predetermine these levels and show it to you. Let's see if you all have any instruments that you want to ask me. You can type it out in the comment section, and I'm going to use Fibonacci on the instrument. It can be a stock, it can be a commodity, it can be anything. I'll just give 10 seconds for you all to choose your stock. We'll try it out. Like I mentioned, not all the stocks is going to end exactly at 61.8, but there is no harm trying in all the stocks to identify, if 61.8 actually works. In the meanwhile, till you are right, let me go to gold. Gold has been shining quite a lot of late. So I'm going to do the same thing on a monthly chart. Why am I taking a long time frame? Is because the concept works same on a shorter time frame, but the problem with a shorter time frame for explanation is it's going to have too many ups and downs. But on a longer time frame, it is more smoothened out. So I'm just showing you a couple of examples on a longer time frame. We'll try and implement the same on a shorter time frame as well for Fibonacci. All right, so gold, I'm going to use my Heikingashi, right? Now we see gold has taken a significant upside swing. It was very flat till here, right? A good swing started here, and we started getting good swings going forward. So I think let me go back to my monthly candlestick. Yeah. So this region was the last biggest drop that you've seen. Yeah, this area. So I'm going to start considering my significant upside move from this rally onwards. So I'm going to choose the green candlestick to start. My starting point will be there, and my ending point is going to be at the peak before it started dropping. In this case, if you see gold came back down, it took support at 1183. It went little below that, eventually bounced back up, and it has been up ever since. Now again, Although this was not a stock, it gave you a good entry point to enter on. So this is gold. Let me see if anyone's messaged any stocks. Okay, okay, there's quite a lot. Let me just close one of these windows. Okay, this is a stock that I haven't personally checked, but someone had asked me for Berkshire Hathaway. Let's look at the significant move. Am I on Heikinashi? Yes. It's a 1 month time frame. Market pretty much zoomed up from these levels, flattened out, and it has taken a big downside. So again, my significant move pretty much started from this rally. I'm going to start from the green candlestick to my peak. Right, this was the peak. If you see, the market has dropped to 61.8 again and bounced back up again. Now I know most of it looks very easy and it looks very magical for us to buy. And if this is the case for every other stock where it comes back to 61.8 and people buy it, why isn't everyone a millionaire? That is the most common questions I get. So I'm just phrasing it for you all. The reason that nobody ends up taking advantage of this entire rally is, let's take Microsoft for example. Weekly chart, Microsoft came to this level, right? So a lot of investors, because we need to understand that you need to use certain indicators. Again, like I said, if you have to backtest and find out for yourself before you trust the indicator to be working in your favor. Now let's say if you implement one single strategy based on couple of indicators, you always stick to that because it has given you consistent returns. A lot of people, what happens is, a lot of investors or a lot of traders, the mistake they do is probably they might end up using 61 point for their entry, but then when the market goes up a little bit, they end up booking the profit too early, and then they missed a good price that they had bought at the bottom, and they try and buy it at higher prices. And sometimes in Microsoft case, yes, it went up, so which is good. Uh, Even in Apple, it would have gone up, so that's good. But a lot of cases, this is a weekly chart, then you start looking at a daily time frame, right? This is where someone would have bought on a weekly time frame, and they end up buying at the top, and then market drops, people panic, they end up booking a loss, but then market goes back up again, they end up buying again at the top, drops again. So and this happens, whereas you could have just entered at 61.8 and let Microsoft do its work to give you the returns. Now again, I'll go back to the weekly chart. Let's say you got a good entry point for Microsoft, correct? At 61.8. Now let's use a ATR. Let's see what ATR says. ATR monthly chart, right? So basically ATR is telling it can move about $11 on a weekly time frame. So you entered at 61.8. Sorry, this has not. Let's do this on a daily chart. Okay. Actually, we can do it on a weekly chart. Sorry. Okay, so Microsoft is indicating yeah, $11 a week, right? And even if we on an average have 4 to 5 good weeks, that's about 3 to 4, 5 bars up here. That's a good return of 35% alone over there. So now identifying your ATR and your entry point now gives you the confidence to hold on till it gives you a good return on the upside. Yes, of course, booking a return of 30% is pretty good. I believe if you are still holding on to it, makes bigger returns. But then again, nobody would hold on to these levels is because there will be a reversal in trend again. Now I'll come to way to exit and way to keep your stop losses a little later. We are just looking into our entry points and why, if our entry point was so clear, that people do not take advantage of this and try and make money. The reason is they do enter at the right points most of the time, but they exit too early, and that's one of the reasons they miss out on a bigger gain. And the second point is that they enter at the wrong levels. Ideally, once this level was missed, you should never look at entering again till it drops back down by 61.8. And in Microsoft, it has never dropped back, so that means best, although the stock is really good stock, best to avoid, because at some given point in time you will always get a drop, and those drops should be your ideal place to enter. No drop, no entry. Gold again has been one way upside. Now people are trying to look into buy. Gold has given the all-time high break. Now this makes sense. If a all-time high has broken, you can always keep a stop loss below your all-time high, take a buy. But again, where are we going to keep a take profit? Which Fibonacci will help us with that also? I will show that to you in a little while. Let's just see if I've got any other stocks. Okay, I think only Berkshire Hathaway was the only request that came in. Uh, so we were talking about Apple before. You looked at Microsoft. Microsoft also gave us a good bounce back from 61.8. I'm guessing most of you all now understand how 61.8 works. I'll just give you one last example on 61.8. This is SPX 500. SPX 500 is top 500 companies of US comprised into one single index. So instead of buying 500 different companies, you might as well buy SPX 500. Or a lot of people use SPX 500 as a benchmark to see the performance of US stock market. Now, let's look at the recession period. There is a reason why I'm showing you about the recession. This was 2007, 2008 crash. Okay. Now we understand market dropped. If it went up by 61.8%, it'll drop again. Okay. Now we always looked at markets going up. Now let's look at the drops. And is the drop going to help us identify? Let's say this was all-time high for SPX. Okay, what happens once the all-time high breaks? What indicator am I going to use to identify where to enter and where to exit is what I'm going to show right now. So gold, the same thing has happened. Gold has broken its all-time high. Let's do this on SPX first. I'm going to take Fibonacci again. I'm going to select the topmost point. This entire thing is my significant move to the downside and to the lowest point. Now, if you notice, I've already put in these numbers. If you want these numbers, you can click on the Fibonacci bar. You get settings, and in your settings, you have all your Fibonacci numbers. And there are more Fibonacci numbers. We are just looking at the golden ratio for today. There is also 78.6. There is also 38.2. We'll get into that slowly once you get familiar with the Fibonacci 61.8. I'm gonna be so I've added 161.8, 261.8, and 361.8. Okay. Now this was my 100% drop before market recovered. If you notice, even in this small upside, market came till 61.8 over here and it gave a small drop. So now you can see how sensitive 61.8 is. A lot of people are looking at 61.8, or nature is actually working as we saw earlier as to how Fibonacci works in nature. Now let's say it has broken your all-time high and it has made a couple of good candlesticks on the upside. I'm looking at a monthly time frame. So 2-3 months it has traded above your all-time high, which gives you a very good indication that the market is going to continue upside. You can always keep a stop loss below your all-time high and take a position on your fourth candle and take a buy. Okay, now we understood your buy position, we understood your stop loss. Now, how do you determine where can the market go till to book your profit? Is where you look at 161.8. Now, this is 161.8. This was your 100% drop. It has moved beyond your 100%. The next level is 161.8. If you look at what happened to the market, it went till 161.8. And if we did not book profit here, we would have lost more than 60% of the gains that you made here. How do I know if 60% of the gains would have lost when this dropped? Because I can also draw a Fibonacci within a Fibonacci, right? So this entire move within 100% to 161.8 is also a good entry point. Let me, okay, I consider that. So this did not touch 61.8, but nevertheless, it was a good indication to start buying again. Now, let's say, oops, let me draw that again. Yeah. Now, 161.8, you booked your profit. What next? You wait for a drop, buy it at 61.8 of this particular rally. Let's say you did not get this entry, you do not do anything. It has broken your 161.8. That means it is making an all-time high all over again. You wait for same rule. Three positive candlesticks, fourth candle enter, and you buy here and keep a take profit at 261.8. And the next level, it has actually dropped before 261.8, but then this would have been a second entry if you wanted to enter again. If you did not enter, it eventually went till 261.8 and you have exited again. Now let's look at the current scenario. Current scenario is that it has broken about 261.8 as well. So you waited for 1, 2, 3. But the third candlestick actually came back below your 261.8, and hence you could have avoided taking a buy position. So it's always the rule is you need to take 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 meaning after it opens in the next, after it opens above the all-time high. So this 1, 2, 3, and you take a trade on the fourth candle. So I'll just try and zoom that in. Okay, you start from these three candles is what you will be looking at to enter. Okay, so similar pattern here. You don't consider this red one, you don't consider even these, you consider 1, 2, 3 because it has opened above the all-time high. Yeah, and we see again market has dropped. Now it is going above it. We have elections this year, so a lot of things might change. So for a long-term perspective, I would stay out of SPX right now. Okay, or probably take a short because the momentum for the short end is still higher, but always keep a stop loss above the all-time high. Now let's look at so this is SPX. Let's look at what happened when this entire drop happened recently. So with the same logic, market market dropped consolidation. This was 161.8, and from here it has gone up quite a bit, dropped, gone up quite a bit. So you can measure all of these as well, right? This was a significant move after it broke above 161.8. Yeah, so it went above. When it dropped, it came to 61.8. So this could have been a very good position to buy. The other way, on a smaller time frame, if you're looking at it from this angle, this would have been a mesh trade because this rally happened, but it did not come till 61.8. So unfortunately, there was no entry signal. So you do not enter. So the rule of Fibonacci is you enter only if you see 61.8. If you do not, you miss it. It is completely fine because we have 9,000 different instruments that you can find your 61.8 on. So you don't have to be hell bent on one particular instrument. So let's look at what happened to US 30. Okay, so this is the US 30 trade that we had taken on a 1 minute time frame based on 1 minute RSI. Okay, and I kind of found out how much does it move. A few minutes back, it was moving about $8. Now the movement has reduced to $6, but nevertheless, it has started coming down. So most likely, the take profit is going to be triggering on this particular trade. We'll look at it at the end again. Now, I hope most of you all have understood RSI, how to combine RSI and ATR for you to take a decision to buy or sell. Okay. Before I go to Harmonix, I'll just show you best way to keep stop losses when you're using Fibonacci. Let's also look at Fibonacci in 1 minute time frame. I remember that I mentioned to you all that I will do that. Let's look at 1 minute time frame Fibonacci. Okay. Let's start looking at this rally. So this rallied, market dropped. It took support at 61.8. So this is a 1 minute time frame on US 30, and it bounced back up. Okay. Second time it started dropping, market rallied, dropped, took support at 61.8 and bounced back up. Now in this case, my take profit is little below 61.8, so I might miss the take profit. But ideally, if I had to keep a take profit at 61.8, most likely it will come to this region and bounce back up, if and that has been the trend for the day. So you can see even in 1 minute time frame, you've got three entries from 6 o'clock till now. So that's how your Fibonacci also helps you. At the same time, with Fibonacci, please check your RSI. Let's see, this is at 61.8. Is RSI at oversold? Pretty much yes, so it is a good buy. Let's do the same thing for the next one. It came back down. Is my RSI at oversold? Pretty much yes, so it is a good buy. So now you know how you can combine Fibonacci, RSI, and ATR is for your take profit and stop loss. So if you're entering at 61.8, always keep a stop loss below 100% and keep a take profit either back upside to 61.8. So let me do this again. So we are looking at this rally, it dropped. So we took a buy here. I'm just going to mark this. We took a buy here. I'm going to close my Fibonacci. Now I know it is going to go back up because of my six, or at least I expect it to go back up because of 61.8. So I'm going to measure this drop to see where my 61.8 on the upside comes. And in this case, it comes pretty much about $25 from my entry price. So I keep my take profit here. That's that's about it. That trade would have triggered my take profit. And in case it started dropping further, it would have come down below my 100% and taken my stop loss. So stop loss is always mandatory, and that is another very big reason why a lot of people end up losing money. Uh, Short-term traders tend to lose a lot of money. One is because entries and exits are not very clearly defined. Second is leverage. If you notice, on a $100,000 account, I took a position worth only 1 unit, because 1 unit is equivalent to $26,000. US 30 is $26,000. So if you notice, I'm not taking leverage. But what if I had to take leverage on the same trade? Okay, that's $2.6 million. I can still take it, but how is it going to impact me? Let's say it goes against me by $5. I'm going to start losing $500, and we know in a day US 30 can move $400 for whatever reasons. And most of the time people do not put stop losses, thinking they will put it later, and which later is becomes never. So let's say someone has taken a 100 unit exposure and US 30 moves against them 200 points. Okay, that's a $20,000 drawdown right there and then. Okay, of course the profit also is going to be attractive, but then it does not make sense me risking $20,000 for me to make $500. So leverage is something that a lot of people overuse, and more than required, and hence again you see a lot of people are not able to make money because leverage is high. There was no well-defined entries and exit, and when I say exit, stop loss is a must, and that's when it becomes a very good disciplined trading. And the few percent of people who end up making a good revenue are the ones who follow this discipline. And a lot of people have different technical indicators, and everyone looks at technical indicators in different ways, but that does not mean that each one's perspective is wrong. It only means how you look at it and how it works for you is what is ultimately going to be the case. For me, Fibonacci works on 61.8. Maybe for a lot of people, Fibonacci works on 88.6, which is much better than 61.8 because you're getting a very good risk reward ratio. So that's how Fibonacci is. I'm going to end this today. I know I'm overshooting the time. I'm going to end it with a small harmonic pattern that I had identified. Let me just. Okay. I think I've lost the harmonic pattern that I had identified. Let me just see if I can get it again. Okay. Too many charts. Okay. So I identified again. This is a very long time frame. You can identify harmonic patterns even on a 5 minute chart, but you'll have to be a real pro to identify these. Again, you have your advisors who or your consultants who will identify these patterns and send it across whenever they find one. If you're busy at work, but then if you're truly interested, I'm sure you would love finding harmonic patterns for yourself because it works beautifully. One, second is you have well defined stop loss and well defined take profit. Let's look at this is Twitter. Twitter gave a good drop here. It has bounced back up. It dropped again, bounced up, dropped again. Now, if you remember the harmonic pattern that I showed you, it looked something like this. It looked something like a butterfly, right? There is a harmonic pattern by the name of butterfly, but the one that I'm showing you right now is not butterfly, but this is a harmonic pattern. Let's start measuring. Simple logic again, you see a significant move for Twitter. This was a significant upside move. I measure this, it came to 61.8. If you'll remember, we had X on X. Okay, so this was X, and then A has to happen when the reversal happens. Let me try and make this bigger. So yeah, so this is A. Now, as per the pattern, the B happens at 61.8, and in this case it has happened at 61.8. So I'm just going to put my B point there. So now we have XAB. Now it has to give me my C point. If you'll remember, the C point happens somewhere between 38.2 and 88.6. Okay, let's look at now. You measure your A to B. You measure this drop A to B, and let me put in the figures. We need 88.6. We need 127 in this. We do not require 161.8, so I'm just going to remove all that. Default, okay, yeah, done. So I hope you all can see this. I'm just going to zoom in. If you see from point A to B, it has dropped, market bounced back up, went till 61.8, then went to 88.6, and it started dropping. Now I know this is a very good potential pattern. So this is where my B C point has been achieved. Okay, so now we had our X starting point A B. Let me draw this so that we do not lose it. X A B. Okay, as per our pattern, if C happens, the D needs to complete. Okay, now we are measuring A and B. We need to measure B and C for the D to complete at 127.4. I'm sorry, I can't shift between two windows. If not, I will take you back. Okay, let me just try and take you back to the presentation. Yeah. So we are looking at a bullish pattern on Twitter. So we've identified XAB once B was formed. From B, it has gone to C, that is 88.6. So we measured A to B, we got 88.6. Now, when I measure B to C, I need to get 127.2. Now, that is what we are identifying. And if it ends exactly at 127.2, the chances, the probability of the prices shooting up from here is very high. Let's go back to our screen. Yeah. So we have, I'm just going to now shift this to C. I'm measuring my B to C. Okay, market started dropping. It ended at 127.2. Hence, my D point is completed. And this is where the entire pattern completes. And now notice what happened to Twitter from this price onwards. The price has touched this point and it has been going up ever since. Right now it is at this current market price, but yeah, it reached all the way to this high. So there's still a good return. Let's look at it on a daily chart. So on a daily chart, you pretty much bought it at $20 and you made a return of almost 77% on the upside. So that's one amazing trade, right? Now let's look at why this was a very good trade. Let's do trade, for example, trade from chart. I'm gonna be buying, let's say I have $100,000 in my account. I will put maybe $5,000 or $10,000 depending on how much I like Twitter. I'm gonna take a buy at 20 as per the channel. Okay, as per this pattern, I'm just gonna remove these. I'm gonna buy it at D. Okay, and I'm going to keep my stop loss below X or even close to B, but below X is more safer. And I'm going to keep my take profit at A. So basically, we can expect Twitter to go, if not A, at least till C, to go till 45 in the medium term. But you entered a buy at $20. Your risk was only $3,000 compared to the profit. And as of today, if you had to take the trade, you would have been making $8,000. That is still almost three times your risk that you had taken. So, and that's how a harmonic pattern works. We have many harmonic patterns. We have Gartley, we have butterfly, we have bat, we have shark. So each one of them has their own criteria that it needs to meet before the market takes reversal in its favor. I hope, I'm sorry, it was not a two-way communication. I'm sure you all would be having good questions for me. If you do, please get in touch with your respective relationship managers and they will guide you as to when our next seminar is going to be. I hope this was really, really informative. Please drop in your comments, leave your feedback on your comments. It would help us to, deliver all the training that you would be looking out for in the future. Thank you once again for the time. Have a great weekend. Goodbye. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Goodbye. Thank you.